let's talk about the art. It's very specific. You have to cover so much of people's fantasy. So how did you end up capturing this with the art? What was important?
The first touch, the first experience to this setting, to this galaxy, to Neon Odyssey is going to be the art every time. That's the first touchstone that somebody has. And so getting the art style right was absolutely mission critical, and we found the right partners for the job. Once again, I feel like the theme of this is partnership, collaboration, finding people that share your sense of life.
Hell yeah.
And Wild Blue Studios is one of those partners. They're doing a tremendous amount of art in the book. They were the ones that did all of the art for our announcement trailer that features the incredible song by Max Cruz featuring the wonderful vocal talents of Nikki Flores and Ollie Ride.
We knew that with Crooked Moon and folk horror, because there's that folklore and just real folk element, right, related to people and the differences across people, that a variety of art styles worked for Crooked Moon. And we had a ton of different art styles in Crooked Moon, but they were all spooky and they all kind of had this similar spirit. We knew that that wouldn't work here because there are so many pre-existing sci-fi settings, sci-fi books even for Dungeons and Dragons, that we knew that we needed to carve our space out and plant a flag in, this is where we are in the space. And we wanted to be inspired by your classic animation. And so you'll see very classic line art. We wanted to feel like that classic animation where the backgrounds are beautifully oil painted or kind of have that painterly style, but all of the foreground figures have that kind of dark line that outlines all of their features.
There's a level of stylization that I think we love at Evantris. And it's something that we tried to do with the Crooked Moon, and then we brought into Neon Odyssey as well, where everything is varied, but it all looks cohesive. It all looks like it fits within the same world. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that most of us, sorry, Derek, played World of Warcraft starting in...
That's fine.
Some of us in 2004 when it came out, and up until, a handful of years ago. And there's something special about stylized artwork that really captures the heart and soul of what you're trying to do. And we talk about this a lot with character creation. There's this beauty in mixing all of your inspirations together to find that thing that is core to you. And I think one of the things that we have done really well as a company is found all of the inspirations, the things that have created who we are as people, and melded them together to create how we tell our stories, how, you can see it in our friendships, the way we interact with each other. It just kind of is, it's at the heart of who we are as a group, and we bring that into the art. And the twins are the ones who work with the artists the most. They do a really great job of taking the things that we see in our brains and being able to execute it and put it onto paper. Because it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say you're gonna see this kind of art everywhere. And so it's special, and then when you see it, it really pops.
I really think that sort of what we've done is accomplish almost like half and half between, like, on the one far end is that hard cel-shaded comic book style almost, and on the other end is that very painterly fantasy realism style. I feel like we ended up right in the middle, and our wonderful partners at Wild Blue Studios have done an amazing job across hundreds and eventually thousands of pieces, maintaining that consistent style across the entire book.
Yeah, and we have an incredible internal art team at Evantris Entertainment, and working with them as well as interfacing into Wild Blue Studios allowed us to kind of develop this amazing synergy that has allowed us to develop the art style, do a tremendous, robust concepting and visual development process to determine what does the galaxy look like, what do all the species look like, what are the subclasses, the classes, the factions, the worlds, everything. We wanted to make sure that we were deliberate about figuring out what that looked like. And our amazing internal art team working with us and with Wild Blue allowed us to align on everything that you're seeing here.
Well, why can you look at this particular species or this particular subclass piece or this particular item and say that they all came from Neon Odyssey? That takes a lot of work and conversations about almost the meta level of the art. And we have a vision and we have guides to help us get where we want to go in terms of those things. Part of that codification is what I mentioned earlier about equipment, feeling lived in, things not feeling overly plastic. There's a little bit of grunge to it. There's a little bit, I mean, even just looking at the Rhapsody right here, you can see that there's a few weathering details between the lines that say this ship has been around the galaxy block a few times, and we love seeing that across the board. Everyone feels like they've lived a world instead of just popped into existence, and I'd say that that's a common trait across all the art in Neon Odyssey.
And I think that speaks a lot to the artists that we bring on for these projects is, you can go out and you can look for artists that have 15 years of experience. And as valuable as that is, it's the artists who are willing to take a risk, the artists that are willing to try something new, the artists that have vision. That can't always be taught. And so it's not always about looking at, who's been around the block or what big names are out there, but finding the artist that when you see your work, you can see and feel the heart in it. And you're like, there is something there. There is a spark there that 15 years of experience isn't going to craft, but that this person has. Let's give them a shot and see how it goes. We don't just look for recommendations. Oh, so-and-so says this person's going to be great. We go out and look for people. The amount of times we sat down at the table and someone's been like, oh, did you see this? Like, let's take a look. Let's reach out to this person. They didn't come to us, but we saw what they did and we thought, oh, this is perfect. This has the soul we're looking for. Let's see if the compatibility's there. And I think that's very important.
These covers are insane. We've got the covers behind us right now. Like, they're really awesome. What did you have to capture?
So these are the book covers. The one behind me in particular is for the Outrunner's Handbook. So there's a lot of familiarity with the Stardust Rhapsody Anthem crew. So we wanted to feature them on the front of the Outrunner's Handbook and really just put them in the settings that we're creating. Mitch at WB, at Wild Blue, did an excellent job of doing some art jams with his with his bevy of art humans, and we got to go through and just honestly pick the best of the best, right? They came up with some amazing concepts and we got to choose the vibes.
Something that we don't get to share in a published book that I also want to talk through is how much iterative work there is in the collaboration creating these art pieces. There's a lot of concepting that goes into making sure that every little detail is correct. What is the correct tie shape on that collar is a conversation that will take up time, and it's worth it every time. What is the correct shoe shape? Should there be 2 pistols or 2 daggers on the hips? Those little details are exacting. I hope that we get to surface some of that concept art because there's some amazing stuff that will never see the light of day because there was something else that just went a little bit more above and beyond. I'm very proud to present the finished artwork. It's a shame that we can only share the printed 2D image on a page that's this big because they're huge files. And as a creative myself and being able to work with some of these assets in creating the openings for many of our campaigns, I was able to pull them out layer by layer. The GM screen, as massive as it is not a flat image. It has hundreds of layers. Each one of those buildings you can pull out and look at and see the shape of it. It's a joy.
Are there pieces of art that are your favorite? Like, what was important to capture?
I'm going to say the Outrunner's Handbook, which is book 1. The cover is absolutely phenomenal. An unbelievable piece. And then also the GM screen. The GM screen is this beautiful kind of like wide mega city shot that gives you so many flavors. And very selfishly, there are so many Easter eggs buried in it from some of the sessions, some of the stuff that we play, some of the things we've referenced very, very recently. The GM screen is just so cool. And if you look close, you'll find a lot of familiar...
It's a treasure trove of cool
You'll
stuff.
find a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar themes.
Yeah, what I'll say is that the team, especially Mikey and Richie, have done a phenomenal job with working with Wild Blue Studios to present lots of different like body types and like you pick one species and there's a whole rack of how you can make your character look, right? They did an amazing job. I love how amazing the art for the subclasses specifically, just in a single picture, captures the mechanics behind what is there without even looking at the mechanics themselves. Like you can look at the God Hand disciple and be like, oh, I have an idea of what this does without even looking at the character sheet yet, right? But my number one answer for my favorite piece of art is actually the cover of our first deluxe book.
Oh!
Is all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's a good answer.
And I'm biased. I'm definitely biased.
All the covers, all the
I mean,
deluxe covers.
they're
it's
all
the-
amazing.
Yeah,
They're all
it's all the
perfect.
deluxe covers.
But my answer is the cover of the first deluxe.
That's probably just correct.
Yeah.
Something that I absolutely love and I leverage often as a GM is specifically the background pieces. All the different like regions, cities, planes. You know, we talk about Arcadia, we talk about Cacophony, but the deluxe covers are pretty fun.